open, so come on in. Sound check done, let's begin. Breaking news, the guest is you. Streaming live for you to view. Open House the podcast. Open House the podcast. Ooh.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, and it is a special Friday today. I am coming up and with me as always,
The door's open, so come on in. Sound check done, let's begin. Breaking news, the guest is you. Streaming live for you to view.
I am really super excited for this show that we have going on today, because the gentleman that you're about to witness and you're about to have on, and we're gonna jump right into it because he is on borrowed time, and that's one of the reasons is he's so in demand. He has been a personal friend of mine now for a couple of years, but more importantly, he's been a mentor of mine. And I don't even know if he knows the amount of impact that he's had in my life alone. And when I move in and talk to new people, and I'm in all these adventures now myself, I'm constantly quoting what his grandma said to him. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Scott Muska, everybody.
Grandma was a wise lady. I take no credit for anything. It's all grandma.
Scott, I appreciate you coming on today, and I know that it is our time is very much borrowed with you this morning, so I don't want to waste too much of it. I do have you promising that you're going to get back on, but I also got to say, I don't know if you know this or not, but I have something to admit, and that is that this whole show is fake. None of this is real. You're not really here. Thank you, Summer, for helping me with this. This is all just to get
avatars.
you back. I just wanted to get you to call me. So that I went to great lengths. I created an entire show.
He was not even taking you seriously.
No,
he did not believe you for a
You got to
second.
put yourself on a milk carton, man. That's what I had to do. I had to put myself on a milk carton.
Which is crazy because I actually saw that milk carton, and first and foremost, this is the power of Muska. He is so popular that he got milk cartons to return just so they could put him on one. Yeah.
Wow.
You remember when all the milk cartons went away? And not only that.
That's where they went?
Then all of a sudden he figured, well, they can put me on the egg cartons, but not the organic egg cartons, and all those went away too now, if you see. So he's a powerful man. I'm going to ask you, like I said, I know that we're on borrowed time, and again, thank you for it. So I want to start out with a bang. You have had a lifetime of experience, and you have worked with so many different businesses, and you've done so many different things. So I'm going to start with just a huge question. In the next, what we got 30 minutes with you.
Yep.
If there was one thing that you could tell somebody that would make the most impact on their life, what would that thing be?
Their life,
yeah,
personally, or you just
their entire life
in general. I would say the number one thing is, no matter what direction you go, personally or professionally, I think the number one trait that someone can have in practice, whether you're a ferocious reader, surrounding yourself with the right people, is mastering the ability to recover from setbacks and embrace failure as your friend, because it's necessary for success. So I would say that emotional traversing of that is what will separate you from everyone else. Because everyone does things and everyone has the will to win, but they don't have the will to prepare, especially to keep going when things get hard. So really at the end of the day is your ability to navigate setbacks and prepare your mind, your head, and your heart to push through very hard things. I think I think that's very important, because again, it doesn't matter the business, the personal stuff that you're trying to accomplish. I think that is the secret sauce. It's really not that secret.
Right.
It's cliche to talk about, actually. But the reason it keeps rearing its head is because so many few people are willing to do that.
Wow. That is, what's funny is, as long as I've known you and as many times as I've heard you talk to people, that is actually not the answer I thought you were going to go with. That is very different. So let me ask you a question. What gives somebody, like one type of person, the ability to push through hard? And it seems like it's easy for them. And yet there's other people that they can't even get close to hard before they shut down. What do you think is the biggest difference between those two people?
Well, I think there are a lot of factors, right? Because people are like snowflakes, Johnny. They're all a little bit different from one another. So you might have one person that's maybe grew up in a situation where they were kind of baptized by fires, tough beginnings, tough circumstances, things not very favorable. So maybe you gird a certain level of ferocity and thick skin that enables you to maybe have a distinct advantage out there in the world, and you're trying to carve out a place for yourself in it when things get tough. Other people have different sets of circumstances. So really at the end of the day, I don't think that that's really any one thing. I think that it really is different from one person to the next.
So
that makes a lot of sense though, because a lot of people, they grow up differently, and you might have that harder, like more fiery grow up, and that shapes you a certain way. Or maybe, it wasn't so much fire growing up, but that still shaped you into the person you are.
Well, there's nature and nurture too, right? Yeah. Just because you weren't born this way, right? It's not a nature thing. You can nurture it. You can grow it. You can, if you have a decided heart about something and you put a lot of effort into it, the likelihood of you pushing through when things get hard is much higher. But a lot of people just don't try to do hard things or meaningful things because trying, the old saying where they say, "Oh, it never hurts to try." Yeah, it does.
It does hurt sometimes. Yeah, it really does.
Sometimes it hurts most of the time. But the ironic thing that I think if people would wrap their head around that would help them traverse these things, regardless of their background or past circumstances, is the ability to understand in your head that tough times are here. If you're having a tough time now, one's on the way.
Yeah.
And so when you can
people always expect it too. They're like, everything's going good. That means something's going to go bad soon, right?
Yeah. And that's not a pessimistic attitude. That's just knowing that everything's in cycles and things are always changing. People have this thirst to want to reach a level of plateau. Like everything's okay now. We made it across this metaphorical finish line. And now we just stay consistent the whole way through. That's just lying to yourself. Things are always changing. So therefore hard times are coming. And once you can wrap your head around this, which is hard times and failure is part of the process of finding excellence. Like on my wall in my house, it says one of my credos on the wall here for the family is failure is not permanent, it's necessary. Wow. Period. End of story. Yep. That is all. If you wrap your head around that, like, oh, you know what? This is exactly how it's supposed to be right now. In fact, I get excited about the fact that it's getting hard right now. You know why? Because it weeds out all the suckers.
Yeah, the suckers.
Yeah, like this is my chance to differentiate myself from the rest of the pack in the weakening of the herd. I get a chance to do something to separate myself from them. Right. And now you're competing against a lesser group of people because everyone wants the same stuff in life. I want to be happy, healthy, have a good career, go on vacation every now and then, retire sometime, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Someone should do a good school. Everyone wants the same stuff. So what are your differentiators? Well, first off is dealing with setbacks, adversity, and understanding, giving yourself a competitive advantage, knowing that failure is not only part of the process, it's necessary for you to find success and separate yourself from others that want to take your lunch.
Right.
I love that. I've got so much I want to mention, but we are so ADD. I couldn't help but notice this too. You are so popular. Apparently, they just started advertising in the background. I don't know why that even happened. Muska is a magical being. You are a magical being. For those of you that don't know, Muska is somehow, when it comes to technology, he is just a magical human being. I mean, before the show even started, we had the TV completely shut off. So the fact that it just turned itself back on, not our logo, is crazy. The phone just went sideways. It's a fun time. Let me ask you a question. So I know that there's the nurture and you got environment, and there's a couple of things that you've said I wanted to kind of pull out. Number one, you were talking about when times get hard, being able to constantly push through, and you like when times get hard, but sometimes hard times continue to beat you down.
Yes.
How do you prevent, especially if you're one of those people that love running in hard times, how do you prevent that beat down from keeping you completely down? Like, is there something that you do or should be doing? Because I know that you're doing a lot right now. But does that question make sense?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, by the way.
Are you asking, like, how do you just maintain your...
How do you get punched in the face every day without getting knocked out?
And like getting up and still
Getting
fighting
punched in
back.
the face the next
You know,
day
like
again.
you're getting your butt kicked, but you keep getting up, fighting back, but it really hurts.
Yeah.
Well, I think a couple things. Number one, proper preparation, meaning I have to know where I'm going, why I'm going there, and I have to have a process or a plan to get there. So if I have that and I put some thought into it and it's meaningful to me and the outcome is something that I really want, then I know that I can trust the process. And so I know if I'm doing the right things at the right way at the right times that I'm supposed to be doing it, then I know that success is not a if, it's an inevitability. It may not happen exactly when I want, and I might not be able to calculate the when, but I know my success will be inevitable. So that helps you get through the roadblocks and the tough times. The other thing is, number two, I think you have to feed yourself. Number one, it starts within that section. You got to be around other people that have sort of like an iron sharpens iron mentality. I don't want to be around stinking thinking Mr. Snuffleupagus. Hey, bird.
Yeah.
What's going on, bird? Worst character in
Yeah.
Sesame Street, by the way. He just has negative energies, like a big old gray cloud. I don't want to be around those people.
Right.
I need around people that give me the right vibes, the right energy. And I'm not talking blowing smoke up your hind end and lying to you and pretending everything's okay when things are tough. But I'm saying solution-focused people that see the glass half full, let's dust ourselves off, not think about the past and move forward, that kind of a thing. Surround yourself with those people. And then I think there's just an element of personal responsibility. You have to take responsibility for not only your own actions, but for your own thoughts. So things that you can do to influence those things. Eat right, exercise, read books, listen to a podcast, listen to Johnny and Summer here. Like different things that you can do to literally you're indoctrinating yourself. For some people, it's religion. For some people, it's their family. For some people, it's readings. For some people, it's podcasts. For some people, whatever it is that you have to do, you know you better than anybody else. What's that thing that you can do to feed your heart and your mind and your soul? Do that, surround yourself with the right people, and have a very high-level purpose-oriented outcome with a good plan and process to get there that you know if you execute on it over and over and over again, you will get there. Then that helps you know that, hey, I'm doing the right things. I have the right people around me, and I'm growing and stumbling and falling sometimes as part of the process, and everything's going to be okay. It's all fear, false evidence appearing real. Fear, forgetting everything is all right. It's fine.
Fear.
Fine.
One more.
I know.
We need
I don't
one
have
more.
another one. That's the only two I got.
Fear.
Fear.
Fasting every day
And
arrests raccoons. We
Yes.
got it. So, okay, let me ask you this. So, a lot of times we hear this. People hear this, especially entrepreneurs. We hear these things, and there's a lot actually there to unpack in what you just said. Who you're hanging out with, what you're putting. To sum it all up, what you put in is what you get out. Mm-hmm. But how do you even start to begin or put yourself in a position where you can even like take all that stuff that you just said and that sounds nice and yes, I'm motivated to do it, but what am I do? Like, how do you
like the
do
first
thing?
step?
Yeah.
Like what's the first thing? Like that mind switch maybe? Like how do you do that?
Well, the first thing is usually the simplest thing, but yet the biggest thing at the same time. Probably there's a good handful of people, no shade anybody watching this, but there's a large handful, I will say, of people watching this right now that most likely don't even have a plan. They don't have a plan.
Yeah.
Where am I going? What am I trying to do? And then build a process and have consistency around that process to get there. See, a lot of people get stuck in the past and they get stuck in the future. Okay. So, for instance, the past, something really good happens, yay! And then you're reading your own press clippings and you're not focused and you fall. It's like a team in sports. Hey, we upset somebody. We're fired up. You know what Vegas always does? They always bet against that team the next week because they call it the letdown game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Or something bad happened. Oh, I'm sad, right? I have to recover from, I'm stuck in the past. So I can't do the thing I need to do, the process, whatever those actions or behaviors are, because I'm focused on the past. And then there's the future. Future is your goal. If you have a goal and a specific outcome you want to obtain and why you want to do it, and you've got a process to get there, a lot of times people can't stop fixating on the goal. The goal itself can become a distraction. It's only there to serve as an incremental motivational tool and a guiding star that you look at and look to once a month or something like that. Don't let that be a distraction, because hoping things to be so and having a goal doesn't mean squat. It's about the process. It's about, what am I doing right now? The actions and behaviors centered around the plan that I put in place that's going to get me there. What am I going to do on Monday? From what time to what time? The things that you set up for your plan. You got to do that stuff. There's a difference between results and the things that it takes to win, the things that you got to do. And people don't have a plan. So you ask the question, what's the thing? Where do I start? Start with that.
Yeah.
That would right there, first off, just they'll get you on the track. Then you can surround yourself with the right people, feed your mind, and execute your plan. I know I'm trivializing it, but you can't start if you haven't done the first part.
So let me ask you a personal question, because I don't know this, which is really funny. As long as I've known you, how do you plan? So what does that look like? Like, what is your plan right now, and how did you do it? Did you just sit down one day and start writing stuff out, or?
No, I learned it from a mentor of mine a long time ago, and basically, it's how to control your life, right? So you almost look like your business and your life and break it up into verticals. I have, like, for instance, I feel like the most important things to me are my health. Because I'm not taking care of me and my health, I'm no good to anybody.
Right.
Number 2, my family. What's my verticals for my family? How I want to engage with my relationships. So, and how I roll with my daughter, whatever. Number 3, my money.
Mm-hmm.
And number 4, miscellaneous, right? The friends and all of those things. So what do I want to accomplish there? Like, if you take every year, a New Year's Eve, I say you go in there, you sit there, you go, okay, what are my health goals? What are my family goals? What are my work goals or my career goals? And unpack those. And you have an end in mind, a goal that you want to accomplish. You work it backwards and you break down the steps. 99% of people don't do that. They don't.
Right.
They don't know.
Like,
they don't even know what they
see
want.
the big golden star, like that's the future, the goal, and then they don't realize that they have to plan. Like, the goal is it's achievable, but when you do the work and when you make the plans. And so, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially like even when you're talking about, the past. Like, if you're so focused on that negative thing or whatever it may be, then that also would hinder you because you're not looking at the smaller working steps. So that makes sense, I think, if I said that correctly.
No, you said it perfectly, Summer. By the way, you get it. I can see the needle moving already. Like, here's the funny thing. See, the people that don't make the plan, what they end up doing is becoming reactive. And then their life controls them and they don't control their life. Because most people wake up in the morning and go, all right, what am I going to do today?
Yep.
Or I might have a couple meetings on my calendar, but they kind of sort of make crap up as they go along. I'm going to go real hard. I'm going to go real fast and hope that yields something. And so you're really doing a lot of really hard work and you get frustrated because, man, I'm working hard. I put in 13 hours today, and I've done that for, a month, and I feel like I'm not seeing any fruits from it or whatever. Well, do you have a plan? Are you just going into each day? You get up. I can predict what everyone on this call is going to do tomorrow. All I got to do is look at yesterday and the day before, and I'm going to be 90% accurate with what you're going to do with your day.
Yeah.
I am. I can tell you what, if you gave me your calendar and I shadowed you for 3 days, Summer, I could predict most likely what you're going to do from the time you wake up to the time you brush your teeth and put your head on your pillow at night, what you're going to do with about 90% accuracy.
I really believe you could. I truly believe you. I don't know about doing that.
You want to
Does this
try
sound
it?
familiar?
Shouldn't do that.
Does this sound familiar, folks? Oh, and this isn't you, Summer. This is just in general, everyone.
Yeah.
In today's world, okay, I go to bed at like 11:30 or midnight or some dumb time. I get up at like 8:30. I might have coffee, but I don't eat. I don't go to the gym. What I do is I go, oh man, I got to start working. I got to do stuff. Oh, you roll out of bed. You don't take a shower. You throw on a pair of pants and a little pair of slippers with the little toenails on it. And you start making calls or doing Zoom meetings or whatever you're doing. And then you just kind of make crap up the rest of the day. And then you have all these things that you have the intention of doing but don't do. And then you have a lack of confidence because you're lying to yourself with all these good intentions that you have and the things that you know what you need to do. Hell, 90% of people know what they're supposed to do when it comes to health, when it comes to their family, when it comes to their career and their productive business activities that produce results. They know that stuff. Especially if they really put thought into it, they could probably put something pretty damn good together. They won't do it. And a lot of times they don't do it it's because they're lazy, or it's because they think, you know what, if I do that and I spend all that time and energy, I probably won't be able to do it anyway.
And they haven't created their plan yet. So they don't have the reason. They almost don't know what to do, right? That's basically what it is, because they haven't thought it through. And it's like you said, what am I going to do with my day today? Instead of having like your calendar, timed out to eat, take care of yourself, to work, to do all those things, then you maybe feel even more accomplished and you feel better and you do feel motivated, instead of feeling maybe more of that negative, don't feel like doing this today feeling.
I love that. See, what's cool when you go into your day and you've already thought it through, the old Stephen Covey play, right? Like planning your week on Sunday, planning your day the night before. See, the cool thing is if you do that, the thinking's already been done. You've already thought through what you need to do and why you need to do it and at what time of the day you're going to do it. So because the thinking is done, when you get up in the morning, you go into your day with confidence because you've already done the thinking and the planning. And so therefore, when you go throughout your day, when you do that, you know what you're doing in that moment is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're never second guessing yourself. Am I doing the right thing? Is this the most bang for my buck and juice for the squeeze for my activity today? Because you've done the thinking. You're like, all right, I need to do this. What do I need to do that, Scott? What outcome is that going to potentially produce? And you plan it out. You plan it out.
So let me ask
20
you,
minutes a night planning out. At the end of every day, you should take 15 to 20 minutes and review your next day and look at it from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, both professional and personal things that you need to do throughout the given day, and go, okay, what am I doing?
Yep. Visualize it.
So let me jump into
Write it down. Have it in front of you. Take the guesswork out of it. All you got to do now is execute. You take the thinking out of it. Is what I'm doing right now with my time, thing that I should be doing right now.
Yeah.
People go through that all the time.
Yep.
So in your life personally, because one of the things that people hear all the time, or that I'm sure you've heard it too, and I've never been more conscious of time, by the way. So we got 4 minutes. I don't even know if I don't even know if we can answer this in 4 minutes. But if I'm to jump into your head, are you, you're interim CEO of like 73 different companies. You've got all this other stuff going on. Are you yourself, is this your process? Like, are you doing this like to on Sunday? Did you take yourself and set yourself aside and do all this?
Oh, absolutely. Every Sunday night, I plan my week out. I look
So what
at
does that
it.
look like? Do you go to a separate office? Like, what does that actually look like? Do you have to remove yourself from the family? Do you go to an office somewhere to do it?
I just come down here into my little fortress of solitude. I like to create uncomfortable surroundings to keep my edge up. I never want to be this is a personal thing. This isn't something I espouse everyone else to do, but I like being like it's cold where I'm at. I like the temperature cold. If it's too warm for me, I can't work. I need it cold. I need to be slightly uncomfortable. And I have to be focused, and I have to have the tools in front of me that I need at arm's reach. So I remove all the excuses for not being able to do something that I need to do.
And comfortability can be a distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have
Especially
a
in the
certain
morning.
level of
Maybe I'll
comfort.
take a nap.
Yeah, exactly. Or just like, keep things away from you. Like, I got rid of all my social media apps. Gone. Bye. I don't have one anymore.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Wow.
They're gone. I got rid of them all. I'm like, this is dumb.
Nice.
What do I do? What do I need it for?
They're huge distractions. Sometimes I think
Oh
about
my
doing a
gosh, man.
I'm not going to because I have reasons to stay on social media, but it's more so just the distracting part of it, the scrolling. So I'm trying to, instead of deleting them, take the conscious decision. It's healthy.
Yeah, you got a deliberate purpose for how you're leveraging
Yeah.
social media as a tool to help your business do well. Well, that's a
Exactly.
deliberate purpose for social media. Great. But I'm talking about anything that has to do with social media that's not a business focused item.
Yeah.
So do you have a specific time every Sunday, like after dinner, you're like, all right, it's time for me to go down and get my week set up? And how long does that typically take? What does that process look like?
Yeah. So what I'll do, on the 2.0 show, what I'll do is I'll actually walk you guys, I'll do a screen share and I'll walk you guys through my calendar.
So what I just heard is we got invited to Muska's house Sunday night for dinner, and then afterwards we're going to
I'll
follow
walk you guys through the whole thing. Like
we'll
I'll
call
be
it
like, look,
Destiny down there.
here's the exercise. Let's look at the week.
Yeah.
What's going on. And you know what also helps me do too, by the way? Helps me eliminate meetings on my calendar that I don't need. Like I just literally did this with some guys the other day, some leaders. I said, hey, let's do a calendar enema.
Ooh.
Oh,
Go
I like
through
that.
and I want you to highlight everything on your calendar that is an action in green, and then I want you to highlight everything that's a meeting in yellow.
Mm-hmm.
They went through and they found on average that over 70% of their week was some form of a freaking meeting. So I said, which one of those meetings do you need and has a deliberate purpose for things that are in your plan? And which one of those meetings can be removed?
Yeah.
Get rid of them.
What's not important? As important.
How many of those people had meetings that have been in their calendar for 3 years from old companies or other people? They just never
It's
bothered.
ridiculous, man. Like, look, you're either going to control your time or your time's going to control you.
Oh, I love that.
You pick.
Yeah.
You pick. Same with your business. You control your business, or your business is going to control you. And the more you do this, then you build up like this strength and this mentality and this stamina and the ability to ignore noise, make better decisions on the fly. Because as you want to ascend in business and in life, your decision making has to become sharper. Because we all are basically products of our decision making. And you become a better decision maker when you learn to master time and make better choices.
Yeah.
And that's it. Am I doing the thing that I need to do, or am I doing the thing I want to do?
Yep. So I guess that's the hidden secret of Muska.
The hidden secret. I actually
he shared his secret.
Yes.
His secret of success.
He did. Be cold all the time. That
Be uncomfortable.
Well, nothing. It's what we've said before in classes I've taught. Nothing of substance has ever come without somebody being uncomfortable.
100%. Guys, I hate to cut you guys off.
You're good.
Okay.
We know
Everybody out there, thanks for tuning in. These two here, they got it going on. I can't wait to do the 2.0. You two, I love spending time with you guys. You guys are great people.
We love you.
I can't wait to do the next one.
Oh, me
yay.
too. Thank you
Have
so much
a great
for the
one.
time.
Thank you, Muska.
See ya.
Awesome. Wow, that was again, I'll tell you what. There's so much to unpack in such a short period of time, especially when we're talking about business and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's do this. Let's do a checkup from the neck up. So let me ask you then. All right.
Sure. Ask away.
Yeah, what does your calendar look like today?
Oh, my calendar today. So we shoot our podcast until, it doesn't have a time, but I'm going to assume
what does it look
by,
like? Is it highlighted? Is it colorful?
Oh,
do you have
I
do you
thought
have
you were
the
being
important things?
what my day looks like.
Yeah. It's all right. So let me tell you. Yeah.
No.
Hang on one second. I also didn't have a chance to do my today calendar because I hadn't heard. I forgot. I'm not going to make any excuses. So
Okay, I was gonna say it was loading.
So here's a fun thing. Well, I was trying to be like
excuse loading.
Yeah, that was it's funny. That's a true thing. The more somebody's like,
They're making stuff up. I do it a lot.
I was sick.
I'm like, actually,
it's interesting, and I would love. Hey, look at that. It's funny. Muska always brings. So that's my mom, by the way, Summer.
Hi, Mom. Lots of nuggets of gold in that conversation.
In a 30-minute conversation.
I know.
Just wait till we can get
gosh.
them for we just lock ourselves in his basement.
I even feel, I can imagine how you guys feel because I feel overloaded. I was trying to just catch on to every word.
It's a lot. Yeah.
He's so smart. He really is. And it's fun, when we have different guests, we see everybody's different outlook and how they are successful and how they've built their business and how each person has their own tweaks, very similar big picture, but they do the little things differently. And it's just interesting. It's fun. Out of this one, we learned a lot of fun new things.
And that's the thing that's really difficult sometimes. And I think that having somebody actually walk through like, all right, let's pretend that it's Sunday night. Well, that's why I'm excited about 2.0. And let's hold on to that thought for a second. So I'm going to throw that out in there. The 2.0. I'm going to throw that out there for a second. Because the other thing that I hope people caught on to, and I caught on to this too. So this week, I wasn't feeling good. I was down for 2 days, right? And was it yesterday? Yesterday, I was just flying high, right?
Yeah.
You know what the biggest difference between yesterday and the other 2 days were, other than being sick?
What?
So yesterday, I had my schedule set from 6 in the morning till 10 at night.
You did.
Now, here's the thing. My number one thing that I took out of this conversation, and I actually mentioned this, and I'm that person. I have meetings probably from back when I was in Keller Williams days, still sitting in my calendar that are reoccurring. As soon as we are done with this podcast, I'm going to go to my calendar, and I'm going to clear every reoccurring meeting out of there, because if they're really reoccurring, I'll need to reset them back up.
No, yeah.
And that is going to clear there are so many crazy things that
Look
are
at
years
that.
old.
Scott, when you rewatch this later, you're going to be so proud of him.
Listen, the number one reason that people don't like to use calendars is there's two, actually. If you guys want to get into a real reason, the number one reason people say they don't like using calendars, they feel like they're getting overwhelmed. If I put everything in there, I'll get overwhelmed. I'm this personality type. And we know most entrepreneurs, we're a certain personality type.
Why do you think let's
real
break it
reason
down.
is?
Why do you think they get overwhelmed?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because I think that the real reason is people feel, especially like if you're ADD, if you're high I personality type, if you want to have control and do everything yourself, they feel like if I put it in my calendar, now it's a real thing that I need to do, and I actually don't want to do it.
Okay.
I think that that's an internal feeling that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Because once you put it, this is something I was always trained on. A calendar is a promise management system. If I write in there that every day I'm going to do this, and every day, if I write in I'm going to prospect from 9 to 12 every single day.
You think it's going to make you not want to do it?
And you really don't want to do it. And then every day you see that, you're like, oh, and then you just don't.
Yeah.
Well, now you failed yourself every single day.
Yeah. So that's kind of where my mind was going, was like the thought of failing yourself, because I feel like a lot of people would feel that way. Yes. But then a lot of people would also feel like, if I don't do this from 9:30, say you're late, you started at 10 or something.
Yeah.
You're like, I already messed everything up. I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, and you didn't do it. So then you feel like a complete failure, even though, there is still something else, following. You have something else to do at noon.
Yeah.
That was your time to eat lunch. So you didn't do anything else. Noon comes, eat your lunch. I think what I try to do sometimes, because this happens to me, and I'm sure it happens to a lot of people, is even when I'm running late on my calendar, instead of just giving up and being like, what do I do? Da, da, da. So you could get like stuck in that freak out and do nothing.
Yes. Yeah.
I do that sometimes as well.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. I'm overwhelmed. So I literally find myself sitting and doing nothing. But just maybe, even though it's late, do it late. fit it in. Maybe you didn't get 2 hours in. Maybe it was just an hour, but
Well, this comes
like
back
just
to
keep working.
this comes back to dissecting what Muska was talking about. Listen, if you have a goal or a plan, this is the one thing about, and I can't wait to have my fitness coach on too. So, every day he has a calorie goal, right? I have a calorie goal that I have to hit. Well, what happens one day if I overextend the calories? To him, if it's most people will just blow up and say, screw it then. The rest of this is just trashed, right? For him, he goes, well, we're going to take a look at the entire month. Yes, that one day was important, right? Like we need to prevent stuff like that happening, but we don't throw the entire thing away.
Exactly.
Because when we look at the entire month, what does that look like? And it's the same thing in business. If you had a bad day today, the average agent, especially when they're getting started in something new.
Yeah, the beginning's going to be the toughest. And if you're starting from scratch, build the calendar and like start doing it. But like you're going to have hard days. It's going to happen. And you just keep trying to push through.
Well, and I think the other thing too is, and it's interesting because when he's talking about building your environment and then building the people around you, right? So I had to reach out to my coach and I was like, I need to have a day. And it's really weird how this is burned into my head. So every Friday morning at 7:00, I have to call him and I have to be held accountable for what I did or didn't do the past week.
Yeah.
Just like a regular coaching thing.
Exactly.
So like if you're holding yourself accountable, if you're saying, listen, this is what my week's going to look like, and you're not able to actually hold yourself accountable, that's when having somebody else go, hey, you know what? You were supposed to do this or this.
Yeah.
Did this stuff get done? Why and why not? And that's the other thing that I think that some people miss. And this is one of the things Gary Keller used to have. For the people that are familiar with Keller Williams, they've seen the GPS. It's a 1-3-5. What's the one thing that you want to accomplish? What are the 3 things that you need to get it done? What are the 5 tasks underneath it? That essentially is what it is. Mm-hmm. But old school Gary Keller was 1-3-5-5-3-1. And what I really liked about that is that it asks the question, when it comes to the things that you need to get done, what can you foresee happening that's going to prevent you from being able to do the thing you need to do? Mm-hmm. And then what's the thing that you can do to prevent the thing that's going to prevent you from doing it?
Yeah.
See, it's a whole nother
Not
thing.
to confuse you or anything.
So, you say that you want to, name something. What's a goal? We'll do it right now, live. Why not? What's a goal that you have right now?
Learn to play an instrument.
Okay, great. And I know we've talked about this off air. What have you pegged an instrument?
Oh, have I picked my instrument?
It's about time. You're about to do it right now. Drum roll, please. That is not the drum roll button. Hang on.
Yeah, but it's like conveniently helpful. I don't know. Let's say let's.
Thank you.
Maybe. Was I supposed to wait? The guitar.
Yes.
Woo!
The guitar.
Okay.
Now, for real? You gonna do the guitar this year?
I'm gonna try to. I gotta build my plan. I still gotta build the plan. This was a very random thing, kind of, that I thought would be interesting, fun to do.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah. So you want to do guitar? All right. Cool. So what is the one thing? If you want, so first off, when you say learn guitar, what do you mean by that? To actually play a song, or do you mean that you want to just learn how a guitar works?
Yep, I want to learn the strings and learn to read the music.
Okay, so you really want to learn how to read sheet music.
Yeah, so I can play different
guitar.
Songs. Yeah,
I got you. Okay, cool.
I don't want to make up new songs.
Okay, yeah. Why?
I just
everybody else
play
did it
songs that already are made.
Hey, that's it. That's why not?
Yeah.
So then.
Maybe next year's goal
to write your own song.
Music.
What I just heard is next year's goal. Summer will have her own song that she wrote. What would that song be called?
Summer's song.
There it is.
Summer song.
There it is. The song of summer. So
Summer. I'm not naming my song Summer Song. Okay. We're getting distracted.
We're not getting this. Perfect. It's exactly what it. This is it right here. Great. So now you have a 2-year goal to write the summer song, right?
Sure.
So the question then becomes, so now a person has a goal. This is really good though, right? So now we're thinking of it, all right? We figured it out. Now what we need to do is figure out, what do I need to do in order to start achieving this goal? Like,
yeah.
This is a strategy map.
Literally from square one. Yeah. What do you need to do?
So do you have a guitar right now?
No, I would have to, put money aside,
Bingo.
save
Assets.
up, start thinking about, which guitar would I like to buy.
Classic guitar, electric guitar.
And then, but before that, I'd have to do, some research because I don't know.
Yeah. And how would you do that?
I'd go online.
Now, this seems simple, but most people don't do that.
Yeah.
See, they'll say, I want to play guitar, but they never take that next step to go, well, I should probably figure out what kind of guitar I want to play.
Exactly. You got to literally start from square one.
They'll just go and buy a ukulele. And
I want to start my own business.
Yeah?
But I don't know what business I want to start.
Yeah. I just want to be independent.
I just want it.
All right, well.
No, I can relate to feelings like that as well.
Yeah. So you got to pick your guitar. So already we know we have steps. You got to figure out what kind of guitar you want, what you're going to pick. And then from there, you move on to saying, all right, well, you also got to learn how to read sheet music. How are you going to do that?
Yep. So that's when you got to, again, you might probably have to take a class.
All right, cool. Are we taking the class in person, online? Are we doing it through YouTube videos?
That's going to be another thing. You're going to have to look at your schedule. What am I available for? See, me personally, I'm very, very, very busy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would love to do this, but it would have to be, a once a week, maybe twice a week class.
See, now that's brilliant, because a lot of people will take something that they want to do or think that they're going to want to do or achieve.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, I don't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
No, you make time.
Yeah.
If you only have an hour a week, then what program out there or person or method or technique could you achieve your goals with still if you only had an hour a week?
Yeah.
Well, there's something you have to research and find.
Yeah. And I think like what you mentioned on too is having someone to hold you accountable, like a friend, a spouse, whoever it may be, a family member. Like even when Scott was speaking, he said he actually learned this a long time ago from his coach.
Yep, you caught that, didn't you?
I did, yeah. So I caught that at the very beginning, and I was thinking the same as you. That is a really good point to touch on. And how do you find that person, right?
Yeah.
How do you know it's not just someone, like he said, blowing smoke up your butt?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the biggest thing is that a real coach is never afraid to challenge you.
Yeah.
And
now you know that as like a coach, but like how like a normal person every single day who maybe doesn't have a coach because maybe they don't have, they can't afford it or for whatever reason. How do you find that person in your
That's a great
sphere?
question. Oh, what a great question. So, number one, the thing about people that are typically like the people that are coaches and people that are trainers and people that are mentors, sometimes there's a person that's a mentor, and that's they don't realize how important you are, and they're more than willing to sit down and have. The first thing is somehow you got to start that relationship / conversation.
You do, yeah.
It's all going to start with that, and you're right. Okay, let's take your guitar scenario. I want to learn guitar. Do you know anybody currently right now that knows how to play it? If not, do you know anybody? Again, going back to your goals. If you have a specific goal and you have a specific time, is there anybody out there that's been able to find a shortcut, not a shortcut, but has found a way, or they themselves have been able to, in a year, and we're only talking about 52 hours now, right? 1 hour a week, that's only 52 hours. Is there anybody out there that has figured out how in 52 hours, 1 day a week, to master guitar so that the next year they could write themselves a song about their own name?
I'm going to write a song about myself. That's crazy.
Now I'm going to start. Yeah. I can't wait for that. This is going to be the best. No,
it's not actually. My name has multiple meanings.
Really? I didn't even know this. I don't know this.
I have my name and then I have
the season.
The season.
Yes.
So it could be just about the season is what I was trying to say.
Got it. Okay. Understood.
My name means summer, and then it means summer.
Yes. Understood.
Okay.
So
sorry.
No, you're good. I was really hoping that there was a type of summer I didn't know about. I was like, that's something I never even asked you. Why? Because it's not What
Spelled
what the
correctly.
crap is the deal with you? Let's call your mom live on the show. Will you want to? Let's ask her. Is she watching? My mom's watching. We could call her. Let's call my mom and ask her why your name is Summer. Why you're
my mom didn't name me. My dad named me.
Let's call. Yeah, gotcha.
It's spelled Azumar. So it's actually, it doesn't mean like the season.
Right.
It means, it's actually a word in Chaldean. So I'm half Chaldean.
What does it mean?
Okay, so it means basically, it's a little bit difficult to explain, but kind of like when I look at you, Johnny, it's kind of like I always go to the word like the aura or like the vibe, whatever that you're giving, that like your skin gives, that you give, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what it kind of means in Chaldean.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm not named after the season. My dad, he absolutely loves my name. He named me. And like I said, even explaining what my name means now, it's sometimes difficult for me because it feels like such a interesting, you know, it has an interesting meaning.
It does.
That's
so you're
not
right. It
very
does have multiple meanings.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant.
Yeah, I get. Well, see, I got it.
Yeah.
I pulled it out. You didn't want to go there. We pulled it out.
Yep, got it. You guys learned something fun about me.
All I had to do was threaten to call your parents.
I'm like, wait, no. I'll tell you whatever you want to know.
So now, you know, the other question, and I want to be real about this for people that are out there searching for folks. There's a lot of people that are in your life, and if they're not in your life, then find where. Listen, if this is the person you want to be, where do these type of people hang out? Mm-hmm. What is it that they do for fun? Where can you find groups of them? And it's interesting because through those searches, your mind will automatically. We've talked about this before. If you're looking at purchasing a new car, in fact, now that you're starting to think about guitar, all of a sudden the ads will start showing up on your phone.
Oh my Lanta!
But that's purposeful. But the other thing that will happen is now all of a sudden you're going to notice that music shop that maybe you driven by 100 days ago, and you forgot it existed, and now all of a sudden it's there again. And that same guitar has been sitting there for 5 years, and you never noticed, but that's the guitar all of a sudden. And then you're driving to Detroit, and here's a guy playing the exact same type of guitar, right? And then you're driving around somewhere in the road, and somebody's got their window down, and there's some song in the background, be like, it's summertime.
What I'm thinking on is almost expanding. Exactly,
because what you focus on expands. So if you're in that mode of, man, I'm looking for somebody, I'm really trying to find somebody, you'll either all of a sudden be like, I know
it feels
people.
like it maybe just comes naturally, like it just happens.
Oh, and that's exactly what,
because that's what your mindset
that's where your mind is at.
That makes sense.
And what's interesting is if we go back to what Muska had said, that's exactly it. Mm-hmm. He said, have a plan for where you want to go. And when you have that plan, your mind is always thinking on, how can I get there today, right? Yeah. What's the next thing we need to do today? Oh, good segue. We wrap this whole thing up, right? Because one of the things that we have, and we have a goal on the show, right, is to be the #1 live podcast for entrepreneurs in the world. Yeah. So we have a lot of things going on and a lot of more cool things that are coming up. And so we have to say, okay, cool, this is where we're at. But I'm constantly looking for what's the next opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. How can we get bigger? How can we grow more? And what do we need to do? So that means we didn't rehearse this part. So
we didn't.
Yeah. So big announcement to make. So a couple of people already know about this. This is the last episode of
This is the last episode of season one. For Open House, the podcast.
We are taking a 2-week hiatus. I think 2 weeks, right? We're coming back right after Valentine's Day.
Yes.
So it might be 3 weeks.
So it'll be
the 14th.
It'll be a 2 weeks.
It's the 20th, whenever the 20th is. I keep forgetting
we will
podcast
be back
math.
February 20th.
Yes. At a brand new time. Now, this is really important to us because we've been looking at the studies and looking to see what people had said.
People like you who are watching as well.
Yep. So we're moving to Thursdays at 11. It just seems to be a better time for everybody. It's a better time for us to be live. and it's going to allow us to do some things in the next 2 weeks to get season 2 set up. Some things,
lots of new, fun, exciting things. We did mention that we are going to be doing merch, so that is something that will be following as well.
Yep.
Lots more exciting things.
Yeah. New websites dropping, new episodes dropping, a lot more social media, a lot more interaction, new segments on the show that are all actually produced, and some stuff that Summer doesn't know about yet, which is really, really fun. But that doesn't mean we're going to be going anywhere. So make sure this is going to be the most important time during the next couple of weeks. If you've been following us along and you like the content that we have, you definitely want to do all the things that Summer is going to tell you to do that I can't remember because I'm not on social media
okay.
much.
We're going to make sure that we follow, we subscribe.
Those are the things.
Throughout this little hiatus.
And we're going to pump out our social media pretty hard.
Yeah, so we have a lot of content that we want to push out to you guys as well, and that will also give us the chance to go through, edit, push this content out for you to see. So you won't be forgetting about it.
Let me. Can I set a challenge for you?
Sure.
Yeah, let me ask this. I love the hesitation every time I do this. Summer's like, what's going to happen?
I don't think you guys realize Johnny does this to me a lot.
A lot, all the time. Do you think that by the time season 2 starts, that you'll have already gotten a guitar and or at least known what you're going to get?
Hey, you guys, I'm not going to lie. I was talking very fast. I don't know for sure. I haven't fully thought this through. I don't know if guitar's the route I would even want to go. There's a lot of fun instruments out there.
I want you to show up with an accordion so bad.
You know, maybe something will happen. I'll say that. Maybe I'll learn a little tune of something.
I'll bring my saxophone.
That I'll share with you guys.
You bring your guitar, I'll bring my saxophone. And we'll have an instrument off of who doesn't know how to play the instrument more. I love this idea. All
right. But yeah, so make sure you follow, subscribe. We're not going anywhere. We're just going to be launching season 2.
Yep. In the meantime, Summer, what time is it?
All right, you guys. So for the last time this season, we're going to turn off the lights, pull the sign, lock the door. We're ending this podcast. We are ending Open House, the podcast.
Peace.